The night that changed everything. What if the secret to waking up feeling alive, truly alive after 50 isn't in a pill, a gadget, or a guru's promise, but in the food on your plate? Picture this: it's 3 a.m., and you're lying in bed, staring at a ceiling that's become your nightly tormentor. Your heart races, your legs twitch, and your mind churns through regrets, to-do lists, or that argument from 1997. You're not just tired, you're exhausted, robbed of the energy to enjoy your grandkids, your morning walks, or even a quiet cup of coffee. For millions of seniors, this isn't just a bad night, it's a life sentence. But what if I told you one woman broke free from this prison, not with drugs, but with 7 simple foods? And what if her story could be yours? I'm Dr. Thomas, a physician with 30 years of experience in psychiatry, medicine, and human health, and I'm here to share a tale that's as real as the ache in your bones after another sleepless night. This is the story of Evelyn Carter, a 67-year-old grandmother who walked into my clinic on the verge of giving up. Her journey from despair to dawn will shock you, inspire you, and most importantly show you how to reclaim your nights. Welcome to Living Fully After 50, where we're not just surviving after 50, we're re-thriving. So, grab a cup of tea, not coffee, I'll explain why, and let's dive into Evelyn's story and the 7 foods that changed her life. Evelyn's breaking point, a cry in the dark. Evelyn Carter was the kind of woman who lit up a room. A retired librarian from Ohio, she had a quick wit, a love for mystery novels, and a knack for making her grandkids giggle. But when she sat across from me in my clinic, her spark was gone. Her eyes were sunken, her hands trembled, and her voice cracked as she whispered, "Dr. Thomas, I can't do this anymore. I haven't slept more than 4 hours in years. I'm awake every night at 3 a.m., my legs restless, my mind screaming. I'm losing myself." Her words weren't just a complaint, they were a plea, raw and desperate, from a woman who felt her life slipping away. As a doctor, I'd seen this before. After 50, sleep doesn't just slip, it can vanish. Your circadian rhythm, the body's internal clock, starts to falter. Melatonin, the hormone that whispers time to rest, dwindles. Stress, inflammation, even blood sugar swings can turn your bed into a battlefield. For Evelyn, it wasn't just sleeplessness. She was missing her grandkids' soccer games, too tired to read her beloved books, and snapping at her husband, Tom, over nothing. "I feel like I'm failing everyone," she confessed, tears welling up. "I just want to feel alive again." I could have prescribed a sleeping pill, most doctors would. But I've learned in my 30 years that pills often mask the problem, leaving you groggy and dependent. Evelyn deserved better. I asked her to trust me with something different, a plan built on 7 foods, each chosen to work with her body's natural rhythms. She looked skeptical but nodded. "I'll try anything," she said. What happened next wasn't just a transformation, it was a miracle. And it started with a twist that shocked us both. The science behind sleepless nights, why aging steals your rest. Before we follow Evelyn's journey, let's unpack why sleep becomes so elusive after 50. Your circadian rhythm, which regulates sleep and wakefulness, weakens with age. Melatonin production drops, especially if you're stressed or glued to screens at night. Inflammation creeps in, silently disrupting your brain's ability to relax. Blood sugar fluctuations can jolt you awake at 2 a.m., leaving you wired and hungry. Over time, poor sleep doesn't just tire you, it raises your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even dementia. As the great philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Health is our greatest wealth." Without sleep, that wealth slips away. But here's the hope. Your kitchen holds the key. Certain foods can recalibrate your body's clock, reduce inflammation, and stabilize your energy, helping you sleep deeply and wake refreshed. Evelyn's story proves it, and as we explore these 7 foods, I'll weave in her journey, along with other patients' tales, to show you how small changes can rewrite your nights. Food number 1. Bananas, the gentle lullaby of nature. Let's start with a fruit you've probably got in your kitchen right now, the banana. Don't underestimate it, this sunny yellow fruit is a sleep superhero. Bananas are packed with potassium, magnesium, and vitamin B6, a trio that works like a soothing lullaby for your nervous system. Potassium and magnesium relax your muscles, easing that restless leg syndrome that keeps you kicking. Vitamin B6 turns tryptophan into serotonin, the happy chemical that later becomes melatonin, your sleep hormone. I suggested Evelyn eat 1 ripe banana, those with a few brown spots, an hour before bed. Brown spots? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Trust me, I said. The ripeness boosts the sugars and nutrients your brain craves. Within 3 nights, Evelyn called me, stunned. Dr. Thomas, my legs aren't twitching anymore. I slept 5 hours straight last night. For her, it was a lifeline, a sign she could escape the 3 a.m. trap. A patient's tale, Michael's banana breakthrough. Michael, a 70-year-old retired firefighter, came to me with insomnia so bad he'd nap in his recliner all day, missing time with his wife. I recommended blending a banana with warm oat milk and a pinch of cinnamon for a cozy pudding. It's like dessert, but I'm sleeping, he laughed at our next visit. After 2 weeks, he was sleeping 6 hours and had the energy to garden again. As Maya Angelou said, when you do better, you feel better. Michael felt it. Pro tip: choose ripe bananas for maximum serotonin boost. Pair with oat milk or a few almonds for extra carbs and magnesium, but skip sugary snacks that spike your energy. The decaf coffee shock, a hidden saboteur. Here's where Evelyn's story takes a dramatic turn. During our second session, she casually mentioned sipping decaf coffee every evening. It's harmless, right? She asked. My jaw dropped. Evelyn, that's your sleep's worst enemy. Decaf isn't caffeine-free, it can have 3 to 10% of the original caffeine, enough to jolt sensitive brains. Worse, the chemical solvents used in decaffeination, like methylene chloride, can disrupt neurotransmitters like GABA, which calms your mind. Even the coffee's aroma can trick your brain into alert mode, sabotaging deep sleep. Evelyn was floored. "I've been drinking decaf for years," she gasped. I urged her to swap it for a soothing herbal tea. "We'll get to that later." That single change was a turning point, but it wasn't easy. She craved her coffee ritual, a habit tied to cozy evenings with Tom. "It's not just coffee," she admitted. "It's my comfort." I understood habits are emotional, not just physical. But when she made the switch, her sleep deepened, and her mornings brightened. This twist is why stories like hers go viral. They reveal a shocking truth about a common habit, making you rethink what you thought you knew. Food number 2, almonds, the silent soothers. Next up, almonds. These unassuming nuts are sleep guardians, loaded with magnesium, vitamin E, and healthy fats. Magnesium acts like a dimmer switch, calming your nervous system and slowing your heart rate. Vitamin E fights inflammation, which can quietly disrupt deep sleep. The fats stabilize blood sugar, preventing those 2 a.m. wake-ups when your body panics from low energy. Evelyn started eating a small handful of almonds, soaked in water for a few hours to boost nutrient absorption. "It's like my brain finally shuts off," she said at our next visit. But the real surprise came when she paired almonds with her new tea ritual. Her anxiety, which had fueled her sleepless nights, began to fade. "I'm not replaying old arguments in my head anymore," she marveled. A patient's tale, Susan's almond milk magic. Susan, a 63-year-old piano teacher, came to me exhausted from years of caring for her sick husband. She'd wake up at 3 a.m., heart pounding. I suggested blending soaked almonds with warm water and a dash of vanilla for a homemade sleep tonic. "It's like a hug in a mug," she said after a week. Her sleep stretched to 7 hours, and she started playing piano again, her passion reignited. As Oprah Winfrey once said, "Turn your wounds into wisdom." Susan's sleep became her wisdom. Pro tip: soak almonds for 4 to 6 hours to reduce phytates, which block nutrient absorption. Avoid salted or flavored almonds, as additives can disrupt digestion. Food number 3, cherries, the ruby red sleep reset. Cherries aren't just a sweet treat, they are nature's melatonin factory. Tart cherries, in particular, contain melatonin directly, helping reset your sleep cycle. They are also rich in anthocyanins, antioxidants that reduce brain inflammation, clearing the fog that keeps you awake. For seniors, whose melatonin levels drop with age, cherries are a game changer. Evelyn was hesitant, she'd only eaten cherries in pies. But I convinced her to try 10 to 15 fresh cherries an hour before bed. "Fresh, not dried," I stressed, explaining that dried cherries often have added sugar, which causes energy spikes. A week later, she called, her voice bright. "Dr. Thomas, I slept through the night. No waking up, no stiffness in the morning." Her grandkids noticed her energy, 2. She was back at their soccer games, cheering louder than ever. A Patient's Tale. David's Cherries Smoothie Surprise. David, a 69-year-old veteran, struggled with sleep disruptions from PTSD. I suggested blending frozen cherries with almond milk for a light smoothie. After a month, he reported dreaming vividly again, a sign of deeper sleep. "I feel like I'm healing," he said, tears in his eyes. His story echoes Nelson Mandela's words, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Pro tip: stick to fresh or frozen cherries to avoid sugar spikes. Blend with almond milk or eat plain for a simple, sleep-boosting snack. The turning point: Evelyn's darkest night. Halfway through our plan, Evelyn hit a wall. One night, she mixed her cherries with a glass of wine, thinking it would help her relax. Instead, she woke up at 2 a.m., bloated and restless. "I thought I was doing everything right," she said, frustrated, at our next appointment. This was a critical moment. Her setback wasn't failure, it was a lesson. I explained that alcohol, even in small amounts, disrupts melatonin and digestion, counteracting the food's benefits. "Your body's trying to tell you something," I said. "Listen to it." This setback added suspense to Evelyn's journey. Would she give up, or would she push through? It's the kind of moment that keeps viewers glued, wondering if she'll triumph. Spoiler: she did. But it took tweaking her approach and learning to trust the process. Food number 4. Kiwi, the green sleep guardian. Kiwi, with its tangy, emerald flesh, is a sleep aid backed by science. Studies from New Zealand show that eating 1 or 2 kiwis before bed boosts sleep duration and quality. Kiwis are rich in serotonin, vitamin C, and fiber. Serotonin paves the way for melatonin, while vitamin C fights oxidative stress, which clouds your mind. The fiber supports digestion, which, surprisingly, impacts sleep. Evelyn wasn't sold on kiwis. She thought the fuzzy skin was odd. "Eat the skin," I urged. "It's packed with fiber." She tried it, brushing off the fuzz, and paired it with half a banana. 2 weeks later, she was beaming. "I'm falling asleep faster, and I wake up clear-headed," she said. Her morning fog lifted, and she started reading her mystery novels again. A Patient's Tale, Linda's Kiwi Revival. Linda, a 65-year-old florist, woke up disoriented, unable to focus on her arrangements. I suggested a kiwi banana smoothie before bed. After 3 weeks, she reported 8 hours of sleep and sharper focus. "I'm creating bouquets like I'm 40 again," she laughed. As Albert Einstein said, "In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity." Linda found hers in a kiwi. Pro tip: eat the kiwi skin for extra fiber. Blend with a banana and oat milk for a creamy, sleep-inducing treat. Food number 5. Sauerkraut, the unexpected ally. Now, here's a plot twist: sauerkraut. This fermented cabbage is a probiotic powerhouse, supporting your gut, which is linked to sleep via the gut-brain axis. Its vitamin C lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps you wired. But it's tricky. Too much or the wrong pairing can disrupt digestion. Evelyn tried 2 tablespoons of raw sauerkraut with oats 2 hours before bed. "It's weird, but it works," she said. Her sleep deepened, and her morning anxiety eased. But when she paired it with red meat one night, bloating kept her awake. "Lesson learned," she chuckled. "No steak with sauerkraut." A Patient's Tale, James's Fermentation Fix. James, a 71-year-old carpenter, had insomnia and digestive issues. I suggested small amounts of raw sauerkraut with brown rice. After a month, he slept better and felt lighter. "My gut's happy, and so's my sleep," he said. His story reflects Hippocrates' wisdom: "Let food be thy medicine." Pro tip: use 2 to 3 tablespoons of raw, unpasteurized sauerkraut with complex carbs. Avoid heavy proteins or alcohol, and watch for histamine sensitivity, flushing, headaches. Food number 6, oatmeal, the cozy nighttime ritual. Oatmeal isn't just breakfast, it's a sleep savior. Packed with magnesium, zinc, and slow-digesting carbs, oats stabilize blood sugar and boost melatonin. Avenin, a unique oat compound, has mild sedative effects, calming your mind without grogginess. Evelyn started eating a small bowl of oatmeal with almond milk and walnuts before bed. "It's like wrapping myself in a warm blanket," she said. Her 3 a.m. wake UPS stopped, and she woke up refreshed, ready to tackle her day. Her husband, Tom, noticed her smile returning. A Patient's Tale, Carol's Oatmeal Oasis. Carol, a 64-year-old nurse, woke up buzzing at 4 a.m. I suggested cooking rolled oats with cinnamon and almonds. After 2 weeks, her sleep tracker showed longer deep sleep stages. "I'm dreaming again, Dr. Thomas," she said, her eyes sparkling. As Maya Angelou said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." Pro tip: cook half a cup of rolled oats with plant milk and add nuts for extra magnesium. Avoid sugary toppings to prevent energy spikes. Food number 7, chamomile tea, the gentle embrace. Chamomile tea is a timeless sleep aid, but only if brewed right. Its secret is apigenin, a flavonoid that binds to brain receptors, mimicking anti-anxiety drugs without side effects. Steep whole dried flowers for 10 minutes at 80 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit to unlock its power. Evelyn swapped her decaf coffee for chamomile, brewed my way with a touch of honey. "It's my nightly ritual now," she said. Paired with a dim room and no screens, it calmed her racing thoughts. "I feel like I'm floating into sleep," she told me, her voice soft with gratitude. A Patient's Tale, Robert's Chamomile Calm. Robert, a 68-year-old accountant, struggled with anxiety-fueled insomnia. I taught him to steep chamomile with lemon balm. After a week, He fell asleep faster and woke up happier. "It's like my brain got permission to rest," he said. As Dalai Lama said, sleep is the best meditation. Pro tip: use 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried chamomile flowers per cup, steep covered for 10 minutes, and drink 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Add honey for extra calm. Evelyn's triumph, a new dawn. After 8 weeks, Evelyn was unrecognizable. Her 3 a.m. wake UPS were history, replaced by 7 to 8 hours of deep, restorative sleep. She woke up energized, her morning stiffness gone, her laughter back. "Dr. Thomas, I'm reading to my grandkids again," she said, her eyes bright. "I feel like I've been given a second chance." Tom noticed it too. He started calling her his sunshine again. Evelyn's story wasn't just about sleep, it was about reclaiming her life, her joy, her purpose. Other patients echoed her success. Michael rediscovered gardening, Susan played piano, David healed from trauma, Linda crafted bouquets, James built furniture, Carol dreamed vividly, and Robert found peace. Their stories, like Evelyn's, show that sleep isn't a luxury, it's the foundation of living fully after 50. Lessons for living fully after 50. Evelyn's journey teaches us profound lessons about sleep, health, and hope. 1 Small changes, big impact. Swapping decaf for chamomile or adding a banana to your evening can rewrite your nights. As Lao Tzu said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. 2 Listen to your body. Setbacks, like Evelyn's wine misstep, are lessons, not failures. Pay attention to what disrupts or supports your sleep. 3 Rituals build resilience. Nightly habits. Chamomile tea, a kiwi smoothie signal rest to your brain, creating lasting change. 4 Nature's power. These 7 foods work with your biology, offering sustainable, side effect-free solutions. 5 You're not alone. Sleep struggles are common, but they are not your destiny. Evelyn and others prove you can thrive after 50.